Hi folks, it's Connie from FAFFDesigns. I'm a brand ambassador for Dixie Belle Paint and I'm based in the UK. Today I'm going to show you how I transformed this boring chest of drawers into a unique autumnal theme piece using the brand new fall colours from Dixie Belle Paint. So first up, I removed all of the original hardware and then I gave it a really good clean with a solution of white lightning in warm water and just gave it a really good scrub because it was a little bit filthy. Once the piece was thoroughly cleaned, I removed any white lightning residue with clean warm water and just rinsed it off. And then gave it a really good scuff sand with my electric sander. Once the piece had a really good scuff sand, I applied a coat of Dixie Belle's Boss in grey because the piece that I am painting is oak, and oak does have a tendency to have bleed through issues. Once this was dry, I applied a base coat of Coffee Bean, which is a dark brown. I use this as a base coat because it gives a real richness and depth to the finished look. Once I'd applied the base coat, I then went in with Pumpkin Spice, which is a gorgeous muted mustard colour. So I used a medium oval brush, and I'm not using any water with this at all. And I'm using less paint than what I would ordinarily if I wanted full coverage, and I'm sort of crisscrossing my brush strokes. The reason for this is because I want to feature some of the coffee bean peeking through. So I'm going to layer the pumpkin spice up and make it so that it looks basically like it's been distressed without actually distressing the piece at all. So you can see that I'm letting my brush dry out of paint right at the edges of the drawers, because this is where wear and tear and distressing would naturally occur. For the small areas around the drawers, I used a small round brush to give the same kind of effect. So I'm not looking for full coverage on this piece. I'm intentionally leaving parts of the coffee bean peeping through the pumpkin spice. By using a cross-hatching technique instead of just going from left to right, it just creates less streakiness with the paint finish. Okay, so on the second coat you can see where I'm building up where I want full coverage of the pumpkin spice versus not so full coverage where you can see some of the coffee bean still peeking through. It gives an impression of the piece being distressed without actually sanding it back or distressing it. I'm going to add a peekaboo drawer side onto these drawers to add a little bit of interest. So I'm using Deep Sea in the silk range, and I line all of my drawers up in a row, place my stencil, in this case it's the Morocco stencil, over the top, Add some paint to the roller, make sure it's pretty well loaded, and then remove the excess paint onto a rag or a shop cloth. You want to have as little paint on your roller as possible. Similarly to how you would stencil with a brush, you want to take off as much of that excess paint to reduce bleed through. And the best thing about using silk for your drawer sides or drawer inners is that it doesn't require a top coat and it's super durable. Just make sure you've got enough clearance when you pull the drawers out that it's not going to cause any issues with rubbing. While the drawers were drying, I decided to give this piece a little bit of TLC on the inside. So these drawers were a little bit sticky and they were really dried out. So I ran some Big Mama's butter over the runners and the interior of the drawers to help them run smoothly. Next, I'm going to seal the paintwork. So I'm using Best Dang wax in clear with the Best Dang brush, which is perfect for applying wax. I just add some onto the brush and apply it in a crisscross motion to make sure I've got full coverage of the wax. After about 20 minutes, you're going to want to take a clean microfiber cloth and buff the wax off. This removes any excess and gives that gorgeous deep sheen. Finally, I added some white pot handles to the piece to make the colour really pop. And here's a couple of close-ups. You can see the coffee bean just peeking through really subtly. And the drawer sides with that little peekaboo stencil detail on just adds a little bit of interest. Thanks for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed it, and make sure you subscribe to Dixie Belle's YouTube channel for more furniture tutorials.